Roll Tide, everybody, and welcome to the Bama Tailgate Show. Shank and I, Mick Gillespie, here hanging out with you. We're going to talk some SEC Media Days. Alabama just went today, so we're going to get into all that stuff. What do the Crimson Tide think this season's going to look like? What about Florida State? A lot of smack talk over there. These guys intimidated by that. They were asked about that. The state of the program with Kalen DeBoer. All that right here on the show coming up, brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. And we're building our new D community site as well. We'll talk about that on the show today. So let's get the party started. All right, there he is, Alphonse Taylor, known as Shank or Coach Shank in these parts. I'm Mick Gillespie. Great to see you, Coach Shank. I like that, the ring of that. Coach DeBoer took the stage this morning in Atlanta for SEC Media Days, and he sounds to me like he's such a politician, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that in a way where he's not going to misstep at all, right? But he was asked about the program, how he feels about where the program is in relation to last year's season. And he basically was like, you know, we're there's a lot of stuff we're proud of that goes on, but we don't feel like we're supposed to be because we didn't make the playoff last year. That's our expectation. That's our goal. And everybody in the building is working to do something about that.
Hey, I love that take from him, man, because that shows a sense of self-awareness, which you got to have as a head coach, man. You know, you can get lost in being overly optimistic and being positive about things, right? But at the end of the day, your job as a coach is to tell those hard truths. And so he understands that last year wasn't a bad season, but it's absolutely not where we want to be as a program either. And he understands the standard and he understands what we need to achieve going into this season. And that gives me hope, man. You know, because some guys can follow up great head coaches and they're just overly optimistic about everything, right? And just to see that he is able to tell those hard truths to himself, look around and see that we need improvement in certain areas, and he's not complacent. That gets me fired up, man. That gets me excited for the season, you know, and because a lot of coaches are just going with the motions. You know, they've been doing it for a while, and they think they can just do the same things to get the results that they want. But I think that he understands that it's going to take a little more in this conference, man. It's the Saturdays look a little different. It's a little more competitive weekend to weekend. So having that understanding and attacking the season, I'm excited, man. I'm behind him.
Yeah, I am too. He said something else I thought was interesting. He's like, sometimes there's ups and downs that you have to go through, unfortunately, that we had to experience. But in the end, we're going to take advantage of our failures. We're going to have, we've had, and we'll be better because of it. That kind of reminds me of something that happened in baseball. Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Fame baseball player, was our manager one year, and we were going through a long losing streak. And he was like, we're going to take advantage of this. Like, we lost 12 games in a row. It was like a franchise record. And he's like, we're going to be better for this experience. And we ended up making the playoffs, right? Lost in the
Mm.
championship series. I'm wondering how Coach DeBoer is going to be able to kind of take that same mentality that the great Hall of Fame baseball player took and then apply that to Alabama, because I thought Saban was excellent in his own way at taking failures and building from them. And you were there to see that in person.
Absolutely, man. And I think that was just a niche of his. That's like a very on brand saving thing because he was huge on, all right, it happened. So what now what? You know, it's just like that wasn't your best rep. All right. You know that wasn't your best rep. Are you gonna cry about it? Or you gonna get better the next rep? Everything is so what now what? And he was huge on being where your feet are, right? You gotta be in the moment. You have to understand the work that it takes to continue to improve. And it's not something that you do in spurts, you know. It takes consistent everyday efforts. They was always big on 1% better every day, right? And that's important because at the end of the day, baby step, baby step, baby step, well, that leads to a big step at some point, right? And so if they just continue to show up every day and keep stacking the bricks, man, we're gonna be fine. And I think Saban did a great job of that, just keeping us locked in on a day-to-day grind. We're not in the summer looking ahead to the first game. It's just how are you going to get better today? How are you going to improve today as a team, as an individual? Are you putting in the work? So when it all
Mhm.
comes together at the end of the day, everybody's doing their part and you get a great team out of it. And so I think by tapping into that, man, it's going to continue to push them, man. Just the things I've been seeing and hearing this offseason, I think we're headed in the right direction. Absolutely.
Oh, no doubt, man. I gotta say this too. I've really enjoyed Damian Harris, like listening to him talk, do media. I think I tried to send you a clip the other day of a story he
Yeah,
told.
yeah.
I don't know him, I've never met him, but I can just tell watching him that he's a guy I would like. I just like the way he talks. I like the way his brain works. He's someone that's easy to listen to. And he's telling this story about how he was late for the meeting before the Tennessee game, and Coach Saban told him basically like, I'm not mad at you for being late. I'm just you're not playing because you didn't come up and take ownership. And I thought, man, this Coach Saban, like, just all the time teaching. And then I was like, I'm gonna ask Shank, does he have any Coach Saban stories like that? Like you said, up in his office a few times.
Hey man, I don't have too many crazy stories with saving it just because, man, from the day I stepped on campus, it was an uphill battle, just trying to fight your way into a starting position, somebody that he's willing to even fuss at. And for me, I knew I was starting to do something right when he kept fussing at me about my weight, right? It was just like, all right, you're like, if they plan on keeping me on the sideline, surely he wouldn't care if I'm making weight or not, right? And it could be 1 pound, it could be a half a pound. The weight I'm supposed to make is the weight I'm supposed to make. And every time I'm overweight, he made it a habit of his to find me during flex lines at practice and just be like, yeah, Shane, I heard you got a baby on the way. When's that baby due, fat ass? And I was just like, ain't no way, man. And it kind of catches you off guard because, you can get lost in Saban as a coach because he's such a tough ass and it's always work, 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 business, business, business. And you know what I'm saying? That when he finally like kind of lets loose and joke with you a little bit, it takes you aback some. You just like, Man, damn, Nick Saban joking with me like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, no, should I look over my shoulder? Or are these my last days or something like that? You know what I'm saying? But man, Nick, it was always the weight thing with me, man. And he never asked me why they called me Shank. He heard my name was Shank, and that was my name from then on. I mean, he stayed on me because it was a details thing. He just always talked to me about the details. He's just like, are you doing the things in your daily life to give yourself a best opportunity to succeed here? Man, that was his thing with me.
You guys
And
didn't
I
lose
took
much,
that.
Shank. So you
Nah,
didn't have a
nah,
whole lot of like, wasn't a whole lot of example. Bama lost more games last year than Coach Saban lost in, decades, it feels like. Like
all right.
they didn't you guys didn't lose that much, but to me, I'm guessing the kick six is the one that he really used as we'll say a learning tool for you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah, man. Because it was a details thing. It was a details thing for him. It's just always the smallest details. And to lose a game like that, you go back and look at film, and it's all in the details. And he used that. And I tell anybody that listen, that off season after the kick six, dog, was by far the toughest off season I've ever been through at Bama in my life. Like I'll never forget. We get back off summer break, so we got May off, we come back, and like literally our first day back, Cochran hits us with like 36 110s. First day back. Mind you, mate, all the fat boys that are fat boys, they overweight. You know what I'm saying? We overweight, we out of shape. It's different now. I think more kids now work out during that downtime man, they just grinding, training. Back then, it's just like football was 330 days out of the year. So if you set me free for this month of May, I'm gonna enjoy my month of May. Like
Right.
I'm gonna take that time off. I'm not doing nothing because soon as we step back on campus, it's full go the entire summer. It's like nonstop. And that 2015 off season before, like just God, man. Like they were just on us about every little thing. You just like you show up to workouts late, you running. You know what I'm saying? It's like you show up to a meeting late, hey, you're a starter, you running. If you
Right.
got a problem with that, hey, you back of the line, next man up. It's just like I feel like everybody was fighting for their spot, and there was so many hungry dogs on that team. Man, it's just like everybody took it in stride. It was just like, all right, this what y'all on this off season. All right, forget about it. Let's go. Like, let's do it. Like, this is what we gonna do. This is what we doing. And they embraced it, man. And I feel like that's partly what made us so good that 2015 year.
Mhm. Guys, we're brought to you by D Community. This is basically a place that we're going to give away tickets. We got 4 tickets to Bama versus Wisconsin. We're giving away so 2 sets of 2, and you can qualify through D Community for those. We'll tell you more of the details coming up, but pretty excited to continue our partnership with them. They were a partner of the radio tailgate show during football season, and have jumped on now, and we'll kind of get people qualified for that. Um, you didn't hear a whole lot of smack talk coming your way when you were at Alabama. I mean, teams didn't really want to give Alabama a whole lot of extra motivation, right? And Coach Saban was
Mm.
on you guys about not doing the same thing, right? He could
Right,
never.
right.
He hated that. So it was surprising when out of the Florida State camp, all of a sudden you start hearing their quarterback, Thomas Castellanos, basically saying that, hey, this is Alabama that has Nick Saban to save them and all this other stuff, talking about how, you know, that this is Alabama team's very beatable. They asked
Right.
Deontay Lawson about that, the comments from the Florida State quarterback. He said, it definitely ignites us a little bit. We can't think too much on that. It's going to come down to what we do, how we prepare that week. I think all disrespect will be addressed accordingly. Hmm.
Mm, mm. God damn. Hey, hey, man. Hey, I like that.
How
I
does that
like
work
that.
with you guys? Like, how does that, like, that kind of stuff go around the locker room? Like, when somebody says something or something happens or you lost to somebody or, you know, whatever it is. I heard Coker talk about going to Georgia, and he's like, we're playing at Georgia. They're a favorite, 2015. Their defensive line starts talking to our defensive line, talking a lot of shit. And then all of a sudden, he's like, oh, man, they don't know what they just got themselves into. You know, he had seen it every day, having them guys
Oh,
after
yeah,
him, you know.
yeah.
How does this triculate from over here to motivation to then on the field from a player's perspective?
I mean, from a player standpoint, man, just imagine you wake up and you go to work every day, and all of a sudden, some random kid who hasn't done anything in his college career just starts talking about, oh, Nick Saban's not there anymore. Alabama's not really Alabama anymore. They just, so just forget about us, huh? Just forget about the players, all the work that's went into doing what they do. Man, it's just kind of funny because Nick was big on that too. Like Nick Saban, he'll just be like, they can put out all the bulletin board material they want. He was really good on like centering stuff back to yourself. He was like, if it takes external factors for you to get up every day and want to perfect your craft and get better every day, then you're in it for the wrong reasons. And and so obviously, like once Nick say stuff like that, like you just kind of keep a lid on it. But in the back of our minds, man, it's just like, man, I can't wait. He's just like, I can't wait. Like, excuse my language, guys, but you just be like, "Man, fuck that guy up. Like, I don't know, I can't wait. And you ready to line up against him, man, because I don't think a lot of people realize is like at the end of the day, you got to play football. You got to strap them 10 straps up and there's 11 people on the field on each side of the ball at a time, and we gonna see who willing to stand on those words. And a lot of times, most people weren't willing to stand on those words. Why? Because we went into Georgia and ran inside zone probably 40 times. And so you get a heavy dose of inside zone. Come fourth quarter, you still having to tackle what looks like a damn fresh Derrick Henry, like he hasn't been running at all.
Right.
And you got almost 400 pounders down the line attacking you every play. I don't think guys think about that type of stuff when they get to talking. And so this Castillo kid, I actually seen a TikTok where he was just kind of walking back those words a little bit, where he was just like, "Yeah, man, we went 2 of 10. I'm just trying to get my guys going." And and I'm just like, so y'all go 2 and 10, and you think the best way to get your guys going is to attack what I would consider a wounded Bama team coming into this year. Because they say you're supposed to fear like wounded wild animals, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what
Don't
Bama
pick
is
up a
right
hurt
now.
dog. Don't pick up a hurt dog.
Like we hurt, man. We didn't win 10 games. We lost to Vandy, lost to Oklahoma. And now we got a 2-10 Florida State quarterback coming for us. Oh, I mean, come on, man. You might as well spit in my face and tell me I'm a coward. It's just, it's just like at what point did Florida State think they could say anything sideways about Bama at all? I don't care how many coaches we lost. Y'all just went 2-10. So there's a due amount of respect that needs to come first. I don't care how you trying to get your guys riled up. Because now, not only do you have to eat those words, the guys on the field with you gonna have to back them up as well. And I can guarantee Bama's not letting that go lightly.
Mm-mm. No, good analysis there, Shank. That's why you're the best in the business. I got a tough one
Man.
coming for you, though. This is a tough one.
All
Kayden
right.
Proctor was there. Excuse me, Kayden Proctor was there today, and I mean, and you know what he brings to the table, the great ability to basically to block and do all of that stuff. But he was asked a question today about being a big guy, right?
Mm,
And basically, his I'm going to read you his quote here.
mm,
He said he has 170 bottles of cologne. Um, they asked him a question, basically narrative on big guys, how they present themselves, right? I'm glad
all
you
right.
asked that question because that's something I'm passionate about. So
All
how
right.
I see it is if you're a big guy, you can't stink. You got to be
Absolutely
fresh,
not.
man, because the narrative
Absolutely.
right now is, oh, you're big, you're stanky, smelly, sweaty, and that's not how it goes for me. That's why I've been saying to flip this narrative, and that's something that kind of started when I was in elementary school when my dad put a little cologne on. Smelling good for the ladies. He's got 170 bottles of cologne, man. And I'm thinking, like, okay, Shank can help us with this on this area, right? He's 6'7". You know, you're a big guy too. Is that the narrative? And how do you counteract it?
Hey man, I'm with him when he right because people are looking at us and be like, "Yeah, big guy, he has to stink, right?" And like he just look like he stinks, and that ain't the case, man. Like, come on, and quite honestly, I think it's disrespectful because some of the smaller guys be the ones walking around here smelling like mules. Man, and it's not talked about. They just let it go. You go into some of these gyms, man, and you work out, and it be the smallest guy next to you, probably 5'6", 100 and nothing, and he smell like he just laid blacktop on the roads all day. But mind you, it's 7 in the morning. It's just like they talk about us big guys, man, but quite honestly, I think we focus more on smelling good because of that stereotype. Like I ain't got 170 bottles of cologne now, but I'm more quality over quantity right now. I got a good 10 to 15 that I keep in the tuck and I rotate out, but man, I'm big on like smelling good because you got to pick a struggle. I can't be like bigger than life and smell. And, I can't have a hard time finding clothes and I stink. And so you gotta shower at least twice a day. You gotta keep that cologne on you, man. Man, you gotta be presentable at all times. Because it's important. It's important. Because girls see the big guys, man. We're judged a little differently than everybody else. And, hey, it don't matter if you got a nice face, if you big. Do you smell good? Can you dress? Are you funny? If you're not funny, that's an automatic L. You can't be big and unfunny, dog.
Do you
You
feel
know what
like
I'm
you're the
saying?
center of attention all the time? Because I was trying to find that picture of us. Like, I'm like
Hell
good
yeah,
six
mate.
foot, and I mean, like I look like a little tiny kid standing next to you,
Eh,
right? And then and I'm used to that with Coker and then Baron Huber, my other buddies. But I mean, you can't
right.
go in a room and hide.
And no, absolutely not. And I want to so much. You know how I am, Mick, man. We go to these events sometimes and it's just like I see all these people. I just want to get in a corner somewhere and like observe. And you can't do that because I walk in and I'm literally looking over the heads of half the people there, just like looking straight across the room. You know what I'm saying? And then I lock eyes with somebody and it's just another tall person and we got that in common and we just like, all right, like we get it, but it's tough. You can't go in and hide. Like you see me, Mick. It's just like 6'6", 400 walk in the room, and it's just like, damn, that's a big ass man. And then they go back to doing what they doing.
Yeah, yeah, right, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Look like that
Yeah.
intimidation factor a little bit too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And it goes the same way every time. And then like once everybody gets to know y'all, he's a big old teddy bear, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, all right, bro. Like, let's not act like you weren't just quaking in your boots a second ago now. Let's not throw the teddy bear thing around, all right? But yeah,
Well,
Mick, we go through it, man.
I figured that. Kalen DeBoer talked about Kayden Proctor. He said, "You look at these guys. You look at the guy, and he's massive. He just does everything on a high level when it comes to his training." DeBoer also talked about
Love
his
it.
GPA at 3.7. So, a big
Yes,
guy.
sir.
I'll tell you this, man. Like when hanging out with Mike Johnson, this is my first offensive line friend, I guess, that I can really think about off. Like where I spent a lot of time with him, and he's
Right.
so smart, right? I'm like, man, this guy's really smart. Like when I first started working with him, I was, I didn't really know what to expect. I thought, I mean, football's a pretty physical game. Is this going to be kind of like a meathead situation? And it's like the exact opposite. Like I'm like, man, it's the offensive line guys are so smart, man. It's like this really like high intelligent group where you're over there going, man, I can't really believe how how well thought this crew is, right? And then you
Right.
meet the other guys, and then like it's like, honestly, it kind of feels like the brain trust of the team. And then you think the quarterbacks are real smart, right? Then you get to know those guys, and I don't know, not saying they're dumb, but they're more jockish. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying by that? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
than the
Man.
offensive line guys who feel like the game's over, and these guys are going to go study somewhere.
Nah, man, nah, I get it. But they always said offensive linemen are some of the smartest guys on the field or in the room at all times. Man, I just mean when you think about it, who else has to figure out how to move a 300-pound D tackle every play and just make them do what you want them to do while keeping in mind your scheme and everything that you're trying to accomplish as a team. And on top of that, man, it's five people trying to work in unison. It's one unit. And that is like D linemen, D ends, it's essentially a one-on-one ISO pass rush in moments. The D tackles, you're shooting the gap, but offensive line is five guys communicating, having to convey to each other what each person sees, and we're having to make calls to best figure out how to block up a play. And God forbid the defense decides to change fronts or get a late shift, and now we got late calls going in, and we doing this all within the clock, you know? And so it takes a lot. It takes a lot of mental processing. And I think coming back to coach high school football, I realized just how much people don't know about offensive line play.
Right.
You know, like I'm having to coach my players on like what's your process when you get up and line up? Like, what's your pre-snap process? And they got up and they just like, I don't really know, coach. I just get the play and we get up and get set. I was just like, what? It's like, do you not have a plan in your head? Just like, all right, let's say we go slide protect to the left. All right, you're the backside guy. You know, backside guard has man one, backside tackle is man two. He's locked on that DN. So as the backside guard, you're having to come down and slide protection and pick up a shade. Or what if that shade crosses face? Do you have do you have a counter move in mind if he decides to cross face when you go down and pick him up? You know, like it's all these things you have to think about pre-snap. Man, I just think it's so funny when people talk about football players in general and just like, oh, he's just a communications major. It's like, all right, bro, you're so smart. It's just like, can you come out here and analyze the defensive front? Can you analyze the box? And on top of analyzing it, can you execute the play? It's just like, I'm not talking like no backseat coach. Like, can you analyze all this within 20 seconds and get the play off?
Right.
And and a lot of people can't. And I don't think they understand the mental processing capacity that football players have.
Hmm.
And that's why like I'm always impressed by guys that like if you ever notice guys that they feel like aren't very smart academically, ask them about football. Football is their niche.
Yeah.
It's just like they don't have space for other stuff. Like football is their thing. And just like, and it's not just football. You run into people that is just like who can read you numbers from a game that happened 20 years ago. It's just
Yeah.
like there's people who have niches and football just happen to be some guys. Like there's a guy I play with back in the day, you know, he had issues with staying eligible. And he just wasn't an academic type guy. But bro can sit and talk football for hours with the best of them. Man, we not talking about, oh, do you just remember this play, whoop-de-whoop. We're talking like breaking down offenses. It's just like pre-snap reads, all of that. Like people don't understand how much goes into the game and just how complex the patterns are when it comes to football. Man, I think they undersell a lot of guys based on their degrees, and they shouldn't, you
Yeah.
know. So, but yeah, that was kind of a little tangent. But yeah, man,
No, I'm with you.
stop talking down on the ball players. And, you know, I I'm a comms major. My undergrad's communications. You know, got my master's in sports business management. I finished SEC academic honors, dean's list, all that stuff, man. I just so happen to curse a little bit a lot,
Me
and I
too.
like football,
Yeah.
and that's it. And so it is what it is, man.
Well, we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi's, the Azaleas, the Oaks, two amazing golf courses. Don't have to have a membership, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, two and change from Birmingham. But Dancing Rabbit Golf Course is the Augusta you can play. You can actually rent a room, a suite in the clubhouse. You get a golf cart, ride over to Silver Star Casino, take the little walkway over to Golden Moon, hit the sports book there, Philip M. Steakhouse, all the great restaurants. It really is awesome. You don't have to go all the way out to Las Vegas to have that casino experience. And they got amazing slots and table games and all the stuff you want right there. Plus concerts, and Geyser Falls Water Park is wide open right now. All right, last thing on the agenda today, talk about Kalen DeBoer mentioning Ty Simpson. It feels like Ty Simpson is going to be the starting quarterback. He was asked about Simpson. He said mechanically, he's pretty tight with everything. He does a nice job, throws a really catchable ball. I think we've seen that. We heard it at the Manning camp that he's been doing really well. He's got to make the right reads. He talked about footwork, which I thought that was a really, really
Mm,
poor thing for Jalen Milroe last year. His footwork was given away whether we were going to run or pass. That's
mm,
never good. He's got to work on his footwork. A lot of times when they say that, they're just talking about dropping back to throw a pass, right? But he said, he can extend plays, and then talked about what an accurate passer he is as well. But he said all three guys are like that. They haven't given him the job yet, but I
mm.
think all of us know that if Ty Simpson isn't the starting quarterback, it's probably not a good thing for Alabama at this point.
No, man. This deep in the offseason. I And you know what's crazy? Saban was kind of notorious for this, man. Just letting them QB battles go on like the first couple games of the season.
Yeah,
And I hate it. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it because those are games you can be getting in a groove as a team, man. And just every time you put a new quarterback back there, I feel like there's a new rhythm that has to be established as an offense. You got a new cadence caller back there as far as O-line goes. And you just every quarterback doesn't command the huddle the same. Every quarterback doesn't come up and demand the same type of attention that it, between each other. It's just it's a different feel every time you get somebody in there. It's just like when 2015 when we finally got Coker in there, man. It's just like, all right, like I can get behind this dude.
yeah,
I want to get behind this person. I think this is the person that can do it, and you felt that difference every time he was the one leading the huddle. Every time we stepped on the field, man, and you seen it in the way he played.
yeah.
Just hard nosed, gritty. And and I just like I stand on this, man. Coker starts that game, we don't lose to Ole Miss.
I know.
We go undefeated that year. I stand on that. Yeah, but I hope it's not an issue at this point, man. And he's kind of saying things that gives Keelan Russell a little in here and there. If it comes to it's almost as if he's not 100% sold on Todd just yet. And I think he should be, man. Just is Keelan Russell probably more talented than Ty right now? I'm sure he is.
Yeah,
I mean, he probably has the higher ceiling.
right.
But does Ty give us a chance to win right now and be really good offensively with a veteran guy at quarterback? I think he does. I think he does, and I think he'll fit great in the system that they run and the things they're trying to accomplish. But at the end of the day, quarterback or not, if we don't get that run game going, Mick, we're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, look, I agree with you. And for Coker was like, we both love Coker. He's our buddy. Phil Savage wrote about in his book about Saban and the program that Jake and Nick had a pretty spirited debate after he wasn't named quarterback after the Ole Miss game, and obviously it paid off for both of those guys, right?
Yeah,
Which the funny thing is, like, Jake's such a nice guy. Like he tries to stay out of any kind. You know how he is. Like he hates any
yeah,
kind of conflict.
yeah.
To think about him having a showdown with Saban always makes me laugh, right? I don't know if that's why. I don't know if that book is why Phil got exiled, but he didn't do the he didn't do any more of the radio soon after the book came out, and I've never gotten Coker to talk about that on air. So, but it's all water under the bridge now. But my whole point was this: is that you're right. Like Saban wouldn't with these quarterback battles, they would linger on, linger on, linger on. I think that it took Lane Kiffin a while for him to realize how good Coker was. And then, you watch the way that the season ended for Alabama, and when he really got comfortable and locked in.
Yeah,
Here's a guy that had played with a chip on the shoulder, and I think part of that was that it took him so long to get the respect that he deserved. And I kind of feel like with Ty, he could probably take that same bit of motivation and go, I've been passed over a lot, and
yeah,
everybody's still questioning, right? Not everybody, but people are. Because
right.
obviously he hasn't been named starting quarterback. Now, I think part of that is transfer portal related. But how can he take that and do just like Jay Coker did and become, a legend at Alabama at quarterback?
Man, honestly, he has to make DeBoer start him. he has to make DeBoer make the decision. Like he just has to play so well that nobody can question him any longer. And I feel like that's when Jake got his respect. He just like he played so well, nobody could question him any longer. Like he led the team. He was toughing it out when he had to tough it out. And you know, he can make big throws. He could take over a game. Jake could do everything you needed him to do because given the opportunity, every time he was given a chance, he performed. And so I think Ty just has to perform, man. It can't be a situation where it's just like I'm scared to mess up. I'm scared to get this wrong. Look,
Right.
dog, we here to play winning football. Like Tua probably one of the best quarterbacks to ever come through Alabama, but was he good for 2 interceptions every time we had a big game? Absolutely. Does anybody care? Absolutely not. Why? Because when it came down to it, he was a ball player. He went out there and he gave us a chance to win every time. And you know what I'm saying? So I think
Mhm.
Ty needs to take that approach, man. Just go out there and play ball. Just have fun doing it. You done worked your ass off to get to this point. And you know, there's probably people still doubting you. So what? So what? Let them doubt. Let them doubt. But go win games. Go perform. Every opportunity you've given, go perform. Why? Because they're not even given opportunities. You earned every
Yeah,
opportunity you
that's
have
right.
right now.
Yep.
Like you've worked for that. You've earned that. And so just go enjoy the moment, man. You know, this isn't empty time you've had at Bama where you just sat
Yeah.
around and done nothing, right? It's just like you've gotten better every chance, you've gotten better every day, and so just go capitalize on that and enjoy playing football. Because I think that was the best part about 2015 for me, man. Like once I finally knew that I was a starter, it's like a weight was lifted off my shoulders and I enjoyed football again.
Hmm.
It's just like I enjoyed the games. I started to enjoy practice all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I enjoyed everything that came with it, but he has to get through this first.
Yeah.
And, and,
It's
and
all part of
once
it.
and once, yeah, it's all part of it. And once he is deemed the true starter, man, I feel like we're really gonna see Ty Simpson light it up. And I think he's a good quarterback. And he needs that chance and he needs them to have faith in him that he'll be able to get it done.
Yeah, well said. Well said. Brought to you by New Life Art. You know, I've got my whole wall of champions over here, and Antoine Petway's Put Away, which is still the gem of my Daniel Moore prints. But you guys can take advantage of our promo code newlifeart.com. Daniel Moore, those amazing Alabama moments in print. Bama Tailgate. When you go to checkout, you'll get 20% off. And we appreciate them for being part of it. D Community, again, we're going to have tickets to give away through our D Community site that we're setting up right now. So that's coming soon. We worked with them during football season on the Tailgate show. Now they're part of Tailgate Daily. And again, we'll have contests, including 2 pairs of Bama Wisconsin tickets. You're going to love it. And from what I was told, they're lower bowl. So I don't know, for guys like me that don't like walking
Nice.
all the way up there, it should be pretty good seats. And always thankful to those guys at Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Talked about it, the Azaleas, the Oaks. Jeff Dunham, the comedian's going to be there with all of his puppets. But go check them out for yourself. Hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. It's not even far from here. It's an easy drive to get to Philadelphia, Mississippi. And slot game's great, hotel's great. Anything you need and want, they got it right there at Pearl River Resort. Shank, always great talking to you. We'll get together later this week, and roll tide to you guys, and thanks for watching.
Absolutely. Roll Tide.